Oh, what's up? Been a long time since I've made a video, but since I'm not gonna be in the next season, taking a break, when I have time from work, I'm gonna try to make some videos. Maybe try to pay more attention to like other games and stuff, and I don't know, do stuff that way till I hop in whatever season's next. Um, First video, following everyone's example, I'm gonna do some tera mons that I think people are kind of sleeping on. But I might reveal some demons that some of the people that have been around for a while might not might not like seeing on this list, but we'll see. First up, honorable mentions. So shout out Imnaz. Mamoswine would have been on the list, but he already covered it, so I'm not gonna cover it twice. If you want to know why Mamoswine is a potential Terra demon, watch Imnaz's video. That mon's insane. Now I have Iron Moth in the middle here, but this goes for a lot of the Paradox mons that are allowed to Terra. I think that's a scary thought. But I put Iron Moth because out of the ones I saw, it is the scariest with Terra. Terra Grass, Terra Water, Terra Fairy, whatever you're feeling. After using that mon without Terra, it's very good and very underrated in the league, I think. And the fact that it can Terra is a scary thought. I put Gyarados, my first Terra ever, and the only Terra captain I had that won Best Terra Captain Award. Hashtag Brute was robbed. But yeah, Gyarados, amazing setup sweeper. Terra Ground, I mean, it's kind of hard to do anything but that. You could Terra Water, but yeah, 1 DD, 2 DDs definitely wins you the game, but late game, Gyarados with Terra can absolutely run through teams. And I really debated on making a whole slide for Porygon because it was very close to being on the list. I think Porygon with Terra is one of the strongest Terras you can do 14 and below. It gets Bolt Beam, it gets Stab, Boom Burst that you can basically give adaptability to. It gets an amazing ability. God, I'm talking myself into it. I should have made a whole slide and sets for Porygon Z, but I didn't. Porygon Z is a demon to Terra, so definitely look into that if you're just looking for some super offensive Terra. But let's get into the first one. Espathra. When I saw this on 14 and below, I was a little mind blown. I'm not gonna lie. Let me make sure it's actually not on the list of Terror Band. Yeah, no. So, yeah, you guys are allowing this thing to Terra, and personally, I think that's a mistake. This Mon essentially has no checks with Terra because if we go over here to my team builder, so I'm looking at the wrong view. But anyway, so I have literally the most bare bones of Spothra stuff you can do. Stat distribution wise, 95 HP is solid. 101 special attack is like not the greatest, but definitely not bad by any means. 105 speed, pretty fucking fast. But the real thing that makes me worry about a Spothra with Terra is one, speed boost, one of the best abilities in the game, and two, its signature move, Lumina Crash. It is guaranteed to lower the SPDEF of the target by 2, 80 base power stab, 100% accuracy. Broken move. You swap in your special wall on it, and you're -2. Now, normally that can be okay because like your wall that usually resists Lumina Crash is going to be able to take another even at -2. Let's say a Steel type, for example. Issue with Terra is Terra fighting here. You Lumina Crash, they swap in their Steel type. Terra Blast fighting is going to eviscerate that thing. This entire time, by the way, you're speed boosting. I have leftovers on this. This is like a more bulky roost set that I just like picked numbers. But you can absolutely go like life orb with roost. Um, Depending on the matchup, you can go expert belt to save some HP. Like this thing is very very strong with Terra, and I think if someone picks this up, it's an instant front runner for Terra Captain of the season, in my opinion. Like insane mon. Another Terra I looked at was like fire, 4 steel types, but like really Terra fighting is like all you need. You could go Terra Psychic if you wanted more offense on that, but I think that's unnecessary. It also, as you can see here, gets very good coverage. Energy Ball Flash Cannon hits fairy types, grass water types, like Expanding Force if you have a Psychic terrain team, Hex for ghost types. Like it gets Size Shock if you want to hit the physical side, but again, with Lumina Crash you really don't need to. It gets Reflect if you want to run some screens. Shadow Ball, even better for ghost types. Like, and it even gets U-turn, dude. Like, if you're not trying to commit to your speed boost sweep, like this thing gets it gets Trick. Like, bro, this I can't believe this thing's allowed to Terra. But definitely look at it if you're unsure. Now then, you may have seen it as I was looking at the others, but next up is one that I'm personally upset gets to Terra, because I would have done it this past season, but you fuckers put it 1 tier above the Terra limit. And that's my boy, Young Lego. Yeah, Stack Attack. I got robbed. I would have Terra'd this thing. This thing is a demon. It just has a terrible typing, like so bad. Good thing Terra fixes that. So, best Terra in my opinion is Terra Flying. Immune to ground, resist fighting. Like, you're weak to electric and rock, but like, you hit rock types super hard with body press or earthquake or gyro ball. Like, you're fine against rock types. Also, yeah, look at these stats by the way. HP not that great. 131 attack is a lot. That's like Paradox Mon physical attacker stats. 211 defense. You essentially never have to invest in this at all. 101 Spadef, also very, very good. Like, this thing's stats are insane. Yes, it is one of the slowest mons in the game. It might be the slow. No, Shuckle's slower, right? Yeah. But it's damn near the slowest. But that actually works in its favor. Especially once you get rid of its terrible typing. Being slow doesn't fucking matter. You know why? This thing has the strongest gyro ball in the game. It is stab. You are outsped by literally everything. And if you're into a super slow team, cool. You just run heavy slam. Congrats. Also, body press coming off base 211. What the fuck is switching into that? So like, you Terra Flying. You have one weakness that you can hit with Stone Edge. You can hit with Gyro Ball for like stab neutral that's gonna have base 150 power. Like, yeah, no, Stack Attacka is absolutely a demon with Terra. And just because it's slow and seen typically as like a wall, don't let that fool you. The only really annoying thing about Stack Attacka is like, no matter how you stat spread it, you're gonna get a defense boost from Beast Boost, which isn't even that bad of a thing. All that means is you get to just invest more heavily into Spadef and like 4 into attack or something, and all of a sudden you're gaining defense while still, maintaining special bulk. Like, it also gets stealth rocks. No rapid spin though, kind of cringe. Yeah, no, this mon, I would have Terra'd it last season. I would Terra it again this season if I was playing. I think this thing has very little checks when it can Terra, which is so crazy to say about a mon with 13 speed. But yeah, this mon is insane. It gets Earthquake, Stone. It gets like solid coverage for like, what it does. It gets Iron Defense. You can Iron Defense body press through the entire team. Like, let's say you're into a physically heavy team and you just iron defense body press. You're starting at 521 base, or not base defense, but 521 defense for body press. You go to +2, like, resisted hits are still doing half to mons with body press. You could Tera fighting body press. Like, I have Tera Fairy here because it's one of the best Tera types, but like, what is taking a Tera fighting body press at +2? Nothing. Oh, they sent in their fucking flying type to attempt to kill you? You get Stone Edge. You don't even need Stone Edge. Half the time flyers are super fast. That Gyro Ball's sending them to the moon, dude. Like, yeah. Stack is a demon, and I hope someone Teras it. I'd love to see this thing absolutely run through teams at the pace of 13 speed. But yeah, that's Mon number 2. Now then. Final Mon, I looked at a bunch of different ones, and I tried to pick Mons that, like, weren't super obvious, because there's quite a few obvious ones. Like, Salamence, Hydreigon, Scizor with Tera. Like, everyone knows these are good with Tera. Like, no one needs to cover that. But a Mon I think could really do well with Tera that I actually hate on a personal level is Chestnut. Yeah, ugly, but look past the cover. Like, worst starter design other than Embor. And I know Tanner's gonna hate me for that. But anyway, yeah, this is a Mon that gets looked over because it's ugly, and grass fighting is a fucking atrocious typing, so bad. But if you tear it and start to look at its stats, all of a sudden, you know, you're like, maybe this Mon isn't so bad. 88 HP, solid. 122 defense, very good. 107 attack, solid. 75 speed, definitely on the weaker side, but like, it's passable for sure. But it also gets bulletproof, which, if you guys are unfamiliar, is actually a very strong ability. Covers Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, a whole bunch of other moves that, like, you wouldn't think. Doesn't cover Moonblast, which is stupid in my opinion, but what can you do? Fairies are OP, gotta be that way. And this Mon gets a lot of coverage. So, first set I have is Tera Fairy. I just threw on the best defensive Tera, but it gets Iron Defense Body Press, which is essentially it's stab, but if you Tera fighting, it's adaptability boosted essentially. Coming off base 122 defense, that's a lot of damage. But let's say you just kind of want to go a bulky Iron Defense set and like kind of whittle your opponents down. It gets Synthesis. It's got great recovery. It gets really good coverage. Like, if we look over here, it gets, you know, the fighting moves, obviously. Close combat, body press, break, if you're getting screens. Crunch for sidekick coverage, amazing. Dragon Claw, which is crazy. Drain Punch, if you're against a team that you know you can, like, it gets bulk up. It gets Swords Dance. It gets, like, really good setup for both defense and offense. Earthquake, obviously, everyone knows how good of a move it is. It gets high horsepower if you're in grass terrain. Iron Defense, we talked about. Iron Head, Tera's Steel, always a good option as well. Best defensive type in the game. And so Stab Iron Head is killing fairies for sure. It gets Knockoff. It gets freaking Leech Seed. You can stall with it. It gets P-Jab. It gets Power Punches, like whatever. It gets Rock Slide for flyers. Shadow Claw for ghosts. It gets Spikes. You can set up spikes with it. Gets a better Protect. It gets Sub, which is like whatever, but there's like Sword Dance, Synthesis. It gets Taunt to prevent setup. It gets Thunder Punch, Toxic. It gets Trailblaze if you're really trying to sweep and cook with it. Zen Headbutt for some psychic coverage. Like, this Mon is really good outside of its typing. So, if you get rid of its typing, all of a sudden, it's very hard to deal with. It is, again, on the slower side, but you do get Trailblaze. You are bulky. You're going to eat hits. Bulletproof makes it harder to hit you. Speaking of, one of the Tera types I suggest is Ghost. Learned this with playing Como. If you Terra Ghost, your only weakness is obviously Dark and Ghost, but most Ghost types are going to be running like Shadow Ball for you on the special side. You're immune to that with Bulletproof. It's fantastic. And if they send in a Dark type on you, one, you're most likely going to live the hit, and two, you still have Fighting Stab. You can kill it with CC or Drain Punch even and get back that HP. So Terra Ghost Chestnut is very, very good. Do you get Stone Edge? I know you get Rock Slide. I don't think you get Stone Edge. Oh my god, it gets Stone Edge. Dude, like, yeah, really good Mon if you're looking for a Terra. Also, like, I believe both of these are like 9 and below. Stack is 9. Where's my boy Chestnut? Chestnut's 8. So like, you're getting some demons with Terra for very low, like, point price, and that allows you to, you know, scroll on over here and get more of these guys, which that is a whole other list to look at. But yeah, definitely consider these Terras. Personally, I would look at one of these two for my play style, because a Spother is kind of going to do the same thing every week. It doesn't have a ton of flexibility, but it's going to do that thing very well, and with Terra, it's going to be very hard to stop it. I mean, Lumina Crash into whatever Terra you're needing, like, I don't know. This is probably the best Terra Captain I've listed, but these two will absolutely put in work if you Terra them. Because they're just held back by some of the worst type pairings you could possibly imagine. So get rid of those, and these two can cook. I would Terra stack, personally. But, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys consider what I listed, and add Porygon Z to the list down here. I have no specific Terra type for it. It quite literally gets every coverage move, so you can Terra to whatever you need. This mon would be impossible to prep for. It's just kind of slow. So like, you just run a Specs and you wall break with it. Call it a day. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. It's glad to be back on the content train. Hope you guys enjoy.